Hello everyone, Ace here, and today let's talk about how Ethan Klein has decided to use the copyright system in order to file lawsuits against some of his critics. He did this by registering his Hasan Piker content nuke video with the Library of Congress before it got published, meaning that anyone that decided to react to that particular video, such as for example Ethan Klein's political opposition, could therefore be sued for copyright infringement, which is an easier lawsuit to pull off than a defamation lawsuit. Now granted, a lot of Ethan Klein's political opposition are people like Hasan Piker, who also happen to be on the far left. In other words, I'm not exactly a fan of Ethan Klein, nor am I a fan of the political opposition that he is currently going after either. Normally, this would be a case of me just laughing at two groups of morons going at each other. Unfortunately though, this particular lawsuit is a situation that can have some rather long-lasting consequences. Before I talk about that, I will have to mention real quick, credit where credit is due. As much as I am not a fan of Ethan Klein, nor his decision here, I will give credit where credit is due, and say that this was a rather brilliantly executed honeypot if there ever was one. Clearly the man has done the unexpected here, and considering that there are reports that at least a few of the reaction video creators supposedly stated that their reaction videos were intended to siphon off ad revenue that Ethan Klein would have otherwise received, well, that does ultimately strengthen his case, doesn't it? Though it does, of course, remain to be seen what all is required for a reaction video to be protected under fair use, what with the transformative nature being a key factor here. And while it is true that there are lazy reaction videos, there are also reaction videos where it is reasonable to say that the work has been transformative in nature enough that someone will specifically seek it out. Either way though, this does lead me quite cleanly to the biggest problem that I have with these lawsuits, that being the precedent it can set. This could, let's face it, pose a risk to content creators throughout pretty much all of YouTube, with the platform becoming a far worse place overall. The potential consequences here are so extreme that I just simply cannot support this altogether. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not exactly a fan of the people that Ethan Klein is suing at this time. Considering that some of them called CPS on him, as well as sent human skulls to his house, I'd say that he'd be well in his rights to file criminal charges against those who are responsible, because those specific actions are legitimate crimes. You don't get to swat people with CPS, and you don't get to intimidate them or threaten them by sending literal human skulls to their porch. And that's not even talking about the questionable legality of how exactly those skulls were acquired, or if they were desecrated in any way. And yes, the FBI has gotten involved in investigating those instances, as well the FBI should. And then there are the maliciously false accusations involving children, which yes, is more than enough to warrant a defamation lawsuit. However, ultimately, that is not what this lawsuit is about. This lawsuit is a copyright infringement lawsuit and intends to go after reaction videos made in response to Ethan Klein. And once again, to his credit, he laid this honeypot trap out expertly. He did a brilliant job in laying the groundwork for this lawsuit that he had planned. But ultimately, this is a lawsuit that, if he succeeds, could have some very lasting and very massive negative impacts for YouTube as a platform, as well as for content creators as a career. Unfortunately, because of the possible consequences of what may come, I still have to come down on the side of I'm against them getting sued over this. But regardless, this is definitely something to keep an eye on.